The Tomorrow People podcast is recorded on the lands of the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation.
First Nations people have been sharing stories and wisdom for tens of thousands of years, and we hope to honour that tradition on this show.
We'd love to give a massive shout out to all the First Nations people listening.
This was and always will be Aboriginal land.
Just a heads up that this episode may include themes that some may find confronting, so please take care when listening.
Tomorrow People Podcast.
Hi, I'm Tom.
And I'm Paige, and today's guest is Emily Sears. Emily is an Australian-born model, influencer and entrepreneur known for her bold presence and unapologetic voice. For the following of millions, she has built a career that blends fashion, lifestyle and advocacy. Welcome.
Thank you. That was such a nice introduction. Oh my God.
No
Thanks.
worries.
Thanks for having me.
Well, thanks for being here. So Tom and I were looking at our social media this morning and we saw that we have a combined following of about 500 people. And then we went to yours and saw that you had 4.3 million, is it, followers?
Oh, yeah.
Just on Instagram?
Yeah. It's up there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's it like having 4 million people following you every day?
To be honest, I sort of dissociate from it. I think you have to. It sort of just feels like numbers on a video game. I think if you had to like sit there and mentally process that those are each individual people like perceiving you, it would sort of not be good for you mental health wise. So yeah.
It freaks me out
It's
thinking about it.
Yeah. It can be a little freaky at time, but I'm just appreciative of having the audience. So yeah.
Amazing. Go.
Well, I was going to say you need to teach us something about posting because I think I posted the last time in like 2016 or something. I think about posting and then get anxiety. And
I relate to that too.
Yeah?
Yeah, absolutely.
How have what's your trick?
I think the trick is to just do it anyway.
Yeah.
Just post anyway because that's the only way to build an audience is to actually put stuff out there. But I go through phases with it too where I just, touch and I'm just like, I can't, and even certain platforms, I'm like, a lot of people into TikTok and stuff and I have like, a couple thousand on there, but I'm like, you know what? I just can't do another.
Too much.
Yeah, I just can't do another one. Like it's very consuming. So yeah.
Do you set yourself a goal every day of one post a day?
I probably should. I probably
you don't
should.
need to with you.
I don't know. I've probably got a bit complacent with it at this point. But again, it's like one of those things you got to balance it because there's the online persona, but then there's you, and then there's real life. And I think one of the keys to having a following with like some longevity is actually to keep that balance and make sure you're not totally like measuring your worth or your sense of self just from online stuff. And I think is if you come and go to it, it's and take breaks, it maintains your mental health in a way that you can probably do it longer than having that burnout. Yeah,
definitely.
Talking about separating real life from the profile, you were showing us before your dog.
Yes.
First dog I've ever seen with dyed hair.
Well, she has an Instagram too, by the way.
Oh,
way.
what?
Of course she does. Absolutely.
Has she got more followers than us?
I think she has 1,000.
Oh, man.
We got some work to do.
She's pretty cute. So
She is very cute. And what was her name again?
Her name's Stevie Nicks. Yes.
So you're a big fan?
Big Fleetwood Mac fan. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And do you change the dyed colour of her ears or are they always pink?
No, I do. She's had lots of different looks. She's currently pink. But I've had her all different colors. Like for Pride one year, I did her like ears rainbow and her tail rainbow. She's been, for Halloween last year, I did her orange because her and I wore matching Chucky outfits for Halloween.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, she has different looks, but she's liking the pink right now. She does. She loves it. She's a diva and she likes a lot of attention. So she absolutely loves it. She gets way more attention.
What's her Instagram handle so everyone can follow her?
It's Stevie_bugs.
Okay.
Follow her. She needs to pay some bills.
Yeah.
I need to get her
You need
some
to
brand
post
deals.
less. She needs to post more.
So she doesn't get posting anxiety then?
She doesn't. Oh, she wants to be looked at 24/7. Yeah. The more attention, the better.
I love it. Well, I guess I gave you a little bit of an intro at the beginning talking about some of your incredible accolades. We know that you do a lot in the space, but we like to give the guests an opportunity to intro themselves, but a bit of a non-bio intro. And what we mean by that is we know that you've got this profession and it's amazing, but just who are you beyond that?
Oh my goodness. Who am I? Existential crisis.
Are you? Yeah.
I would say that I'm a model and I'm Australian. I was based in Los Angeles for 15 years. So, I had quite an interesting career there. I'm taking some space from America right now. So I'm just kind of at the moment traveling and just getting back to other passions of mine. I guess in about 2016, I took a little bit of a hard turn in terms of my career and also what I was posting online. Very randomly, I went viral for exposing guys who send unsolicited dick pics.
Wow.
And that went really viral. And there was some very mixed feedback with that. Like basically guys would send me and my best friend like unsolicited dick pics and we would like Google them, find pictures of their like wives or mum and like respond with a picture of their mum to like their dick. So that went really viral. It was lighthearted at the time, but it got serious. There was some pushback of like, oh, you're posting in a bikini on the internet, aren't you asking for it kind of thing. So at that point, it sort of segued me into using my platform in a broader way and just talking about things like, feminism, rape culture, victim blaming. And I think that I've tried to use my platform from that point on in a way to sort of like antithesize like the Andrew Tate kind of stuff. Because I am fortunate that I do have a following of like a lot of guys that aren't necessarily seeking that type of message. But if they're following me anyway because they're looking at my pictures, then why not, throw out those tidbits of information that can help sort of like shape or just do my part to, shape the, whatever.
The conversation.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's amazing. What was it like making that transition from being, a model influencer to then obviously like we said in the intro, like you really are an advocate around women's empowerment. And I think when we were, looking more into you, like really trying to get rid of the myth around victim blaming.
Right.
But like what was that transition like for you to go from that to?
To be honest, like 0 out of 10, do not recommend. It was rough. It was rough because there was a lot of, guys who had just been following me that absolutely were not looking for any type of message like that. So it was sort of like a culling process and there was a lot of verbal abuse, obviously, just so much. So yeah, that wasn't great. But in a lot of ways, it was great because I think I found my voice and I sort of doubled down on, not just being a picture. So it sort of like lent me the opportunity. But it was interesting too and eye-opening because I did, at the time, I had an awareness that, because of the way that I look, I'm blonde, got the boobs and everything. So people are going to assume that don't know what I'm talking about. Stupid. So I sort of just took the opportunity to really deep dive into like literature, feminist literature, Black feminist literature. And that just sort of like opened my perspective of the beliefs I already had, but it really broadened my view to become a lot more worldly. So I appreciate that time because, at this point I feel quite confident in that I do know what I'm talking about, So yeah, it was good.
When you said like 0 out of 10, don't recommend, it was very hard, but you did double down. Did you have a moment or moments where you considered kind of retracting and going, you know what, that's too hard, I'm going to stop speaking out?
Yeah. I did. And I mean, like I said earlier, the taking breaks, that's important.
Yeah.
Because there is only so much anybody can just be exposed to a complete onslaught of verbal abuse.
I can't imagine.
Threats, all kinds of stuff. I had people showing up to like speaking arrangements I was doing, screaming at me. I mean, it was like to the point of like, okay, like dangerous.
Yeah.
Some stalkers and stuff like that. So like it was it was scary.
Yeah.
So yeah, but just finding that balance and ultimately, I think it's good that I work for myself. So there's no sort of like pressure or anybody telling me what to say or what not to say. So I'm glad I have that liberty to just sort of like speak my mind. I'm appreciative of that. But yeah, it's not without danger to sort of like speak your voices. But I think for any woman existing online, not necessarily a big following, I think women in general just existing online can be a dangerous place.
Yeah.
We see you as a tomorrow person because for many of the things that you've just discussed, like you've got this incredible platform, this really powerful, I guess device to speak with a large audience, and rather than use it just as a, passive experience for people, you've used it actively. We talk in Tomorrow Woman about taking up space unapologetically, and you do that. But also it feels like you've used that space and kind of looking through the articles and reading about the work that you've done, bringing awareness to this entitlement that sometimes people feel around your image and not being able to separate the image from the human being behind it. And the way that you have actively, rewritten the rules on that for people and made them kind of look in the mirror a little bit, some of your audience, and ask themselves, okay, what has made it, how have I made it okay for myself to behave this way?
I appreciate that. Thank you. That's really kind.
Well, it's incredible that you kind of, keep going, because I think for a lot of people they wouldn't, because it is so difficult, I imagine.
Yeah, you do just have to take the breaks. Like that's what I'd say. If you just have to follow your own intuition and know when it's time to like pull back.
Yeah.
And then you can come back stronger. And I think that's with honestly any sort of speaking out.
Yeah.
Any sort of, I don't want to say activism. I don't consider myself an activist, but like any sort of work you're doing, you have to take space and allow some levity into your life. It just can't be all doom and gloom, or you'll just like burn out, and then you're of no use.
Yeah. What does a break look like for you?
Just kind of hanging out with my dog. Definitely taking like a week or two to just like have no makeup on, just not be perceived, not look at my face. I'm so sick of the side of my face. Like I'm so over it. Just looking at photos of myself. If I never see myself again, I'm fine with that.
Do you do all your own like editing and photos and everything?
Yeah, I work with some good photographers, but like, obviously, looking at yourself before posting and stuff like that. And yeah, you just sort of have to sort of dissociate from the image of yourself and how you feel. Yeah. But you can integrate it too. And that's what I try to do.
Yeah.
But, you sort of just get a sense of when it's time to like, okay, go to that side and be more of just a human and be a garbage can on the couch and watch shitty TV.
Just in bed rotting.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
It's important.
On the, separating out and kind of tapping into how you're feeling and the human behind the image, we've got this tradition on the podcast of asking a question, how are you? Which sounds pretty simple, pretty normal. But then we get you to answer it uninterrupted for 90 seconds. So your job is just to answer, how are you at the moment in life, in this moment right now? And
we'll time you.
I'll set the timer up and let you know when 90 seconds is up. So, Emily, how are you?
I am well. I am going through, I think, a little of a transition at the moment. I said earlier, I've taken a little bit of space from being in America. And I've been traveling a lot and spending more time here at home in Australia. And it's been interesting in a lot of ways coming back home. And things don't look the same as they did when I left. So it's sort of like when you live away from home, you get homesick. And then it's sort of like to come back and realize, oh, you are homesick for a place that's not even how you left it anymore. So that's been interesting. But I think I'm in a place of possibility, but also mourning a little bit of what my life was, or the possibility of what it might have been had I stayed and stuff like that. Like it's I don't know, how am I? I mean, I'm fine. I'm a little lonely. I'm missing some of my friends. But I'm good. I'm just sort of looking to the future. And figuring out what's next, maybe in a point of just recalibration right now. Yeah.
Nice.
Has it been 90 seconds?
That was right on the dot.
It's always like the people are like,
How long have I got?
Well,
Before I go on another tangent.
Thank you so much for sharing all of that. How did you find just giving yourself the 90 seconds to answer?
I feel like I can be a bit of a yapper, so I'm fine with that. I think I rambled a little bit, but that's okay. Yeah.
I think it's nice to sometimes just to let people go and just see what comes up.
Yeah.
So thank you
that's
for sharing
a good exercise.
Yeah. So obviously the podcast is called Tomorrow People, and like Tom shared, we see you as a tomorrow person for all the reasons we've said. But we know that for people to end up where they are, they've been a lot of places before. And you've already shared, obviously, what was a really defining moment for you, going viral, starting to share a different part of your life with the world, calling people out. But we're wondering if there's another life-defining moment that's kind of shaped you into the person that you are today that you would be able to sharing.
How long have you got? Because
is there a few? Or?
There's a lot of law.
Yeah,
there's been a few.
Whatever feels right for you.
I think it's hard to narrow it down to just one. So I would say probably the year of 2020 because a lot happened in that year. I had brain surgery in 2020, so that was kind of crazy for that to happen during a pandemic. I was awake for it. It was crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, so that was certainly life-changing in that, being a model, having had my body really be my career and, income and everything, it just gave me a different perspective of my body and what my body can bring to me other than just like income. And just how much the body is always working to keep us alive. And really it's like a friend taking care of you. And just the resilience of our bodies. I mean, it was crazy. I was on an operating table with my head open, wide awake. It's a crazy experience. Yeah.
What was the reason for that?
I had something that's called a cavernoma or cavernous malformation.
Yeah.
It's basically just a cluster of blood vessels that you're born with that they lie in your brain dormant. They don't really cause any issues until like late 20s, early 30s. And it was giving me seizures. So in 2019, I had, I think 6 grand mal seizures, which are like, the full-on ones. So yeah, I had been dealing with the seizures for a while and, on and off medication, which, was very frustrating because it was around the time of a lot of the public speaking I was doing and stuff. And I was just really limiting my ability to even talk a lot of hours of the day because the medication was very strong. So I did have a breakthrough seizure on a medication and I just decided okay, I can't do this anymore. It's time to actually do the surgery. But because it was located in my front left temporal lobe, that's the area of your brain that conducts speech and language. So there was a risk that I was going to lose my ability to talk.
Wow.
So that's why I had to be awake for it. So yeah, crazy times.
Wow.
And then what also happened that year, which I think was, I mean, it was a pandemic as well, which was, I mean, insane in itself for everybody. But also I had a therapist that I had been working with for years, and I had seen her originally because I had some commitment phobic issues, I think. I had some bad experiences with relationships in the past that just got like kind of scary. So I think I had subconsciously just pulled back from really wanting to get too close in my love life to people. And I had worked with her for quite a long time, and she had really helped me overcome a lot of my fear and phobias around like intimacy and closeness and, you know, knowing what that looks like in a healthy way. And then she was murdered by her ex-partner. Yeah.
God.
So that was on Valentine's Day in 2020. And obviously that really, really in a hard, very hard way, like kind of threw me. Because where do you go from there? Like the person that made you feel safe again is killed by her ex-partner. And I think that really just like really deepened my true passion for the things that I talk about. And then, you know, I became like just talking about that sort of reopened that like the discussion online and stuff like that. And I attended some of like the court stuff and everything, which took a while. So yeah, that was definitely intense that whole year. You know, I think it just, I was in a very serious relationship at the time that unfortunately like just didn't survive everything that was going on. So it was just like one of those years where like a lot of life happened. And a lot of life was happening, you know, to everybody around you. And that isolation just mixed with those really huge, crazy things like, you know, back to back. It was just kind of like a lot.
Insane.
How would you describe Emily before 2020 and then, you know, the last 5 years? How did it change you?
I don't want to come across too like depressing. I think I had probably more of a sense of hope. Not to say that I've completely lost hope, but I think my perspective has changed on a lot of things. I think that it's still valid and still worthwhile doing the work. I just don't think that we're going to see the change that we necessarily deserve to see like in our lifetime when it comes to certain issues. I think it's one of those things, like there's actually a book that I like reference quite often, and it's called Hope in the Dark by Rebecca Solnit. And the main like theory in her book is that for change to happen, it's kind of like archery where you pull the arrow back in order to move forward. And I think that right now we are in such a moment of that pullback. So it feels like things are regressing. I do think ultimately like we are in a path of like a lot of change when you zoom out. But I think right now, as opposed to before, you know, 2020, I think I had a little bit more maybe delusion of like how much you can change people's minds and how much it's hard to say. Sorry, I'm rambling a little bit now.
Not at all.
Not at all.
Yeah.
There's such like
It's big
significant
stuff. Yeah.
and like I'm so sorry about your therapist too.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
But like it's not really something you can succinctly package up. Because they're huge.
And I think that relates to probably to answer your question, right? That kind of relates to having that presence yourself, because it's never going to be a perfect package. You're never going to have like this answer, right? Because things are happening, things are evolving. Even this week, like what America looks like right now, even the last week. So things are always moving.
Yeah.
So there is no sort of like answer. And I think probably to answer your question, I think prior to that time, I thought maybe I could attain that type of answer. But there is sort of like a freedom in letting go of that and knowing that like it's still worthwhile showing up anyway. And it's more collaborative, right? Like it's about just doing your own part, not thinking like you can personally change people's minds.
Yeah.
I think I've learned that it's not about me as an individual changing an individual's mind. I think it's like people with a common goal all doing their part to shift a culture. And it's not really on any one of us, even though we have leaders. It's it is on all of us to just do what we can. So that's probably shifted my perspective a little bit.
How do you find hope in the dark? Because I think like one of the really refreshing things about the way that you're talking, and thank you for your honesty, but I think a lot of people look at people who are standing up or are kind of advocates for change or a cause or anything. And I think it's easy to tell a simple story that they're just always on and they're a hero and they're kind of going about that work. They don't often see the doubt.
Yeah.
And see the existential stuff that can go on, and is this working, and is it worthwhile? Because as you shared earlier, it can be really hard.
Yeah.
What gives you hope in those moments, or why do you keep going?
I think one of the most important things to learn if you're speaking out about anything or passionate about any type of cause, one of the most valuable things that I've learned is to get excited about being wrong. And that gives me hope. Changing my relationship with getting things wrong takes so much of the fear out of like, oh, what if I say the wrong thing? Or if you can just own that like nobody has all the answers, we are all wrong sometimes, and look at mistakes or being called out or whatever it is sort of as an invitation for more information. So when you see it that way, it takes so much of the fear out of like, oh, I want to speak out, but I'm scared of saying the wrong thing. If you can just get excited about getting things wrong, it really changes a lot. And I think it's like, I think even for somebody to take the time out of their day to be like, hey, I actually don't like that. That offends me, or that I think you could do better in this. I think a lot of people come from a place of defensiveness, but really it's quite a loving action. For someone to take time out of their day to invest in you by saying, hey, you could do better here, that's actually a really loving thing for them to do. They're invested in you being a better person. So if you can get excited about those call-outs or call-ins or however you want to label them, then it gives you hope because you're excited about getting it wrong even. You know what I mean? So if you can flip that, it's actually a good reframe to sort of keep going because you're never going to get all the answers right. So yeah, I think that sort of helped change my, I don't know, like thinking towards that and giving me more hope in it. That even when you're wrong, you're still learning. Yeah.
Is there something that you got wrong that you feel like you really grew from?
Oh my gosh, I've got a lot of things wrong. Definitely. I feel very blessed that I have a lot of women of color in my life. And I think I came, to a lot of these topics and conversations very bright-eyed and bushy-tailed with all the right intentions. But there has been moments simply as, coming from a white woman's perspective that you're going to up with certain things or just overlook things and not have a broad enough perspective to even consider how certain things impact you, but they can impact other women in different ways. So yeah, I owe quite a lot to all the women in my life of color who have sort of taken the time to share their perspective and stories with me, and I'm just so appreciative of that.
Sometimes when you zoom out the big story does feel like a pullback, and sometimes, it doesn't feel that we're heading, in a great direction. But in the small moments, there's often, hope. What's been a moment for you where you've recognised the impact that you are having? I'm not sure whether someone comes to mind or someone that did, reach out.
I get people reaching out. Sometimes as girls, sometimes as guys. I always appreciate a lot of guys who are like girl dads will message me and sort of thank me for just giving them a perspective of language of like what their daughters and stuff are going through. So that's always really nice to receive.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'd probably say that when like stepfathers of girls, sort of thank me for the information that is helping them with raise their daughters. Like that's probably the most meaningful feedback that I get.
Yeah.
Amazing.
You've already kind of spoken a bit to it, but what do you think a tomorrow person is?
I think somebody who's courageous, brave. I think something that I've been sitting with for a little while now, probably in the last few weeks, couple months, is I'm having a hard time with passivity in terms of like toxic positivity. You know what I mean? Like I struggle with people who are more focused on the optics of looking like a good person or sort of being a friend to everybody and getting along with everybody. I think that that's a beautiful thing, but I also think people do get left behind when everybody's, you sort of can't be nice to everybody because there's a lack of protection for the most vulnerable people. If you sort of hear everybody out, it's kind of like, I'm probably not explaining this very well right now. But if there's a group of people that are being oppressed and there's somebody doing a lot of damage, if you sit there and they're like, oh, well, let's hear out the person doing the damage. So I can come across looking like a really good, caring person to everybody. In the meantime, the people being oppressed, they're suffering.
Yeah.
So there's sort of like an abandonment, I think, in that of centering self and being like, oh, I want everybody to like me and be a good person rather than being kind of brave and ballsy enough to be like, no, fuck that. Leave those like I think it does take a certain edge to be able to stand up for people that are vulnerable. And so I think in great leadership and tomorrow people, just the ability to know when it's time to actually fight for what you believe in and for people that, don't have a voice like you do. I don't really subscribe to this notion of like, oh, we can all just sort of get along. Like it's just not reality. Like it's beautiful in theory, but the reality is like people are actively being harmed and are in danger because of their various identities. And I think it's, the people making the most change are those who are willing to say a hard thing or not be liked by everybody or, tell people to fuck off if need be. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, just the bravery of stepping up for what you believe in, but also advocating for those who don't have a voice in the face of people that are actively trying to harm others.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For people that are listening and kind of going, I want to be more of that type of person. I want to have that type of bravery and edge and stand up in those moments. How do you do that? Like, what's been something for you that's cultivated that muscle for you?
I think it's practice. And again, it comes back to, I don't think you can truly really stand in your power and lead if you are attached to the idea of wanting everybody to like you. And I don't think that I don't think moments of tension are inherently conflict. I just don't. So again, going back to what I said earlier, like letting go of that idea of like having to be right or having to be liked, it sort of just empowers you to be like, well, this person might not like what I have to say, but it's still worth saying. And shifting the focus on the message being more important than like if somebody likes you. Because that's kind of fake too, to just sort of be like, everybody, get along.
Where did you get that from, do you think? Like, is that something you've always had?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've always been a little defiant.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe I'm a Scorpio, so maybe it's that. But yeah, I think it's important to just sort of not care what people think. And if it can be as simple as, say you're at a party and somebody says like a racist joke or something, like just being the person that's like, actually, no, man, that's not funny.
Yeah.
Like that's not it. And I say this to guys a lot too when I talk about like shifting rape culture and victim blaming. If there's a scenario where like you're with the boys, like it doesn't really matter if you're telling girls like you're pro women and stuff, like who are you going to be in that moment when one of your guys is like, oh yeah, like check out this picture this girl sent me? Are you going to be the one to say like, actually you don't have consent to show me that intimate photo of her? Or, are you like, what are you going to do in the actual moment? Are you just going to like roll with it because that's your boy? Or are you going to say, hey man, don't? Like, I think that's where the work is in those small moments. It's not in a lot of it's not even in the big stuff. It's in just continuously choosing to back up what you say with action.
Completely. Do you have someone in your life that you see as a tomorrow person?
Yes. Oh my gosh. So many people in my life.
Who's one that like really stands out for you?
Oh, that's such a good question because I have been so blessed with so many people in my life that are really inspire me. Like all my girlfriends in one way or another really inspire me. My mom really inspires me. I feel like I couldn't even choose one because how do you narrow it down? But amazing people around me.
Amazing.
Yeah. Just my girlfriends. I think there's a love that happens with female friendships that's so valuable that I really cultivate and put a lot of my time and effort into. Yeah. So my girlfriends, I would say.
Love that.
Yeah.
Emily, thanks so much
thank
for
you.
coming in. I feel like you spoke about 2016 being this moment where, this viral thing kind of blew up for you. And it sounds like it was an invitation.
It was, and it definitely happened at a very weird time too, because that was like, if y'all can remember, like that was the beginning of Trump.
Yeah.
He hadn't come to power yet. It was also the start of like Me Too movement stuff. So the time that happened to me was just a really interesting beginning of all of this change. So I think I sort of got swept into the wave of it all. So it was an interesting time. Yeah.
Also, I feel like you talk about being swept into it, but also it sounds like you've made some really gutsy choices to kind of utilize that moment and utilize your platform in a way that's taken a lot of courage. I know you say that you were kind of born with it maybe as a Scorpio, but still, like you said, I can't imagine what it's like to have that amount of people on that type of platform come at you with negative energy, even a portion of it.
It's, it's can be, you get over it.
Yeah.
But you just gotta like, I think I dissociate from all of it, including like the compliments. Like you just kind of can't take any of it on.
Yeah.
Because if you take on the praise, then you have to validate a random person's opinion on you.
Yeah.
And so that sort of like invites the rude comments too. Like you just have to
Yeah.
just know yourself and know that
Yeah.
like however people are reacting to me is about them
Yeah.
and their like upbringing and what a woman who physically presents as me represents to them.
Mm.
It's not even really about me. If you don't know me, like
Yeah.
your reaction to me is just about you and your story.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
and I think, more than anything, like that's where I've got to in terms of like my career and being so like physical. Like my physical body actually has not much to do with me at all. So I can really separate from it in a way that I don't really experience like rejection or people's opinions on what I look like or whatever. Like it just, none of it gets in, you know?
Which is so amazing, you know, because for a lot of women, that's not the case. It's,
Yeah.
you know, women live with that torture with no platform.
Right. They do.
So thank you so much for just
God.
sharing so much kind of intimate story of your life and being so open. And yeah, it's been amazing just hearing about everything that you're doing. And like Tom said, like you could just have that platform and do nothing, and seeing you advocate and speak up despite all the noise is really incredible. So
I appreciate
thank you
that.
so
It's
much.
very kind of you.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks.
Tomorrow People Podcast.